Tracking down these items might not be the best idea. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 cursed real-life objects. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be taking a look at objects from around the world that affect their users' or owners' well-being, either spiritually, emotionally, or physically. Supposedly, allegedly, or reportedly due to curses, spirits, or something else entirely that we can't even begin to understand.
And he left a message. Death.
Number 10. The haunted wedding dress. Curses are usually brought on by immense sadness or anger, or a combination of both. And this wedding dress is a prime example of that. It was the wedding dress that Anna Baker intended to wear at a wedding she couldn't wait to have. In love, excited and happy for what was to come, until her father shot that idea down, Anna never did get married, and she died in 1914. Located in Blair County, Pennsylvania, the house the Baker family lived in was turned into a museum, and guests often claimed to see and hear the members of the family inside. The dress supposedly shakes intensely on nights with a full moon, threatening to break the glass cabinet in which it resides.
In 1981, Life magazine came to Baker Mansion and named it one of the 9 most haunted houses in America.
Number 9. The cursed mirror of Myrtle's Plantation. You might not want to check yourself out in this mirror. The whole estate, found in St. Francisville, Louisiana, is reportedly haunted. But this mirror supposedly contains the spirits of Sarah Woodruff and 2 of her daughters. It used to be standard practice to cover mirrors after someone dies, only no one covered this one. The legend goes that Chloe, a slave owned by Sarah Woodruff and her husband Mark, plotted to get revenge. She baked a cake with extra poisonous additives for the owners. Only Sarah and her 2 children ate the cake, resulting in their deaths. Their spirits were then transported into the only uncovered mirror. Visitors of the plantation often see the family in the reflection, as well as handprints of small children on the glass. Number 8. The Hope Diamond. A diamond the size of a walnut sounds pretty rad, until you find out that most of its owners died tragic and horrible deaths. There are many versions of this diamond's origin story, but most say that the jewel was uncovered in India and sold into French royalty in the 1600s. Later stolen, it was then sold to the Hope family in 1800s London and eventually made it to the States, where it was finally locked up in the National Museum of Natural History in 1958. Confirmed owners of the diamond include Kings Louis XIV through the 16th, King George IV of the United Kingdom, the Hope family, Sultan Abdul Hamid, and Pierre Cartier. While deaths said to be related to the stone's supposed curse have come in the form of wolf attacks, disease, murder, and suicide. Number 7. Little Bastard. As far as curses go, a cursed car isn't something you'd expect to hear about. The car in question is a Porsche 550 Spider, once owned by James Dean and nicknamed Little Bastard.
My mechanic, Rolf Weatherick, and I decided to drive my car to a race in Salinas. It was a beautiful, clear day. The road seemed almost deserted.
The actor was involved in a fatal car accident with this vehicle, after which the working parts of the car were used to replace parts in other vehicles. But soon enough, reports began to surface about the cars that had Little Bastard's parts becoming involved in horrific and often fatal accidents.
I used to fly around quite a bit, I took a lot of unnecessary chances.
Even thieves who had tried to steal the remaining parts were horribly maimed. Strangely, actor Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan, had talked to Dean 7 days before his death, telling the rebel without a cause, quote, "If you get in that car, you will be found dead in it by this time next week." A prophecy which ultimately proved true. Number 6. Tutankhamun's tomb.
Discovered in 1922, King Tut's tomb is hailed as one of the great finds in archaeology.
The thing with curses is that they don't discriminate, and that's apparent with the curse of the pharaohs. Whether you're a visitor, thief, or archaeologist, if you disturb the resting pharaohs, be prepared for a life, albeit a short life, of misfortune.
Pa says all the tombs were robbed. Was this tomb robbed?
Yes, it was.
That's such a shame.
After archaeologists opened the tomb of Tutankhamun in 1922, many people died shortly after visiting it, beginning with aristocrat Lord Carnarvon, who died of an infected mosquito bite within 5 months of the opening of Tut's tomb. With causes ranging from disease to murder and suicide, many attribute their deaths to the curse. Even the death of Howard Carter, who opened the tomb 10 years prior to his demise, is considered to be caused by the curse.
It's the curse. It's a curse! Beware of the curse! Beware! Stupid, superstitious bastard.
Number 5. Ötzi, also known as Iceman. When he was discovered in 1991 in the Ötzi Alps between Austria and Italy, tourists thought they'd found the body of a mountaineer who had died not so long ago. Upon further investigation, it was learned that the body was actually a well-preserved mummy who lived around 3300 BC.
If Ötzi was a shepherd, perhaps he was murdered for his sheep.
Fascinating as that may be, what's perhaps more intriguing is that 7 people linked to Ötzi's discovery and recovery have since died, and not all from natural causes. When the genitals of the Iceman appeared to be missing, people began theorizing that he was the victim of ritual sacrifice. However, the shrunken organs were later found. Further tests determined that Ötzi most likely died of blood loss after being tagged by an arrow to the shoulder, or a head injury administered around the same time. But that doesn't quite have the same sensational appeal.
In the years ahead, researchers will continue to study Ötzi. They are confident that in time, the Iceman will reveal the story of his life.
Number 4. The Chair of Death. Being wary of ancient tombs and jewels is bad enough, but now it seems we should also remember to watch where we sit. The infamous Chair of Death, also called Busby's Stoop Chair and the Dead Man's Chair, was cursed by convict Thomas Busby in 1702. Busby murdered his father-in-law for allegedly sitting in his aforementioned favorite chair.
Don't you give it a try, Sheldon?
All right.
On the way to the gallows, he put a curse on the chair, dooming anyone who dared sit on it. The chair remained in a pub in North Yorkshire for centuries. During World War II, pilots frequented the pub, but the ones who sat on the chair never returned from combat. The chair has apparently killed everyone who sat on it, with victims having haunting experiences like paranoia, itchiness, and other unexplained occurrences before their deaths. Number 3. The Dybbuk Box.
Cool.
The inspiration for the 2012 film The Possession, the Dybbuk Box gets its appropriate name because it contains a dybbuk, a malicious and restless spirit with the ability to possess the living. Originally belonging to a survivor of the Holocaust, many subsequent owners of the heirloom experienced bizarre and unexplainable happenings. Each of them has stated that they either smelled cat urine or jasmine flowers coming from the wine cabinet, and that they endured horrific nightmares. It's been on eBay a few times now, with one owner noting in the description that it burned out his lights and made his hair fall out. A claim that, if true, is likely to make it a hard sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 2. Annabelle.
This is the worst thing in here, is that doll. I'm not gonna stare at it though. So you can take the picture, but I'm not gonna stare at it.
During the first few weeks it spent in the apartment of 2 nurses in training and roommates named Donna and Angie, this doll was seemingly harmless. However, curious as to the unexplainable occurrences surrounding the doll, the women called in a medium to find out the story behind it. Sinister activities then reportedly manifested, with demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren explaining that they were dealing with a conduit to hell, and that the attached demon was looking to possess a living being. After a failed exorcism on the doll, the Warrens took Annabelle home, but it tampered with their vehicle in an attempt to kill them. After the doll was secured in their museum, a visitor reportedly challenged Annabelle. When he left, he abruptly lost control of his motorcycle and crashed into a tree, dying instantly. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. The Crying Boy Painting. Having one cursed object is more than enough. Mass produce it, and now you're asking for it. As one version of the story goes, artist Giovanni Brangolin, also known as Franco Seville and Bruno Amadio, found a boy on the street crying and full of sorrow. Seville decided to paint the boy. A priest explained that the child had run away after seeing his parents killed in a fire. Anywhere the boy wound up, fires would soon follow. Seville distributed the paintings, but soon after, his studio was burnt down. Additionally, there have been numerous reports about homes in which the painting of the crying boy was hung having been burnt to the ground, with the painting itself coming out completely unharmed.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.